Today I'll be replacing the worm gear in a Stihl MS 391 chainsaw. I'll begin by removing the E-clip and the washer. Next, I'm going to remove the sprocket. This particular sprocket was stuck, so I have to use a little help to get it off. Now I'm going to remove the spark plug so that way I can use a piston stop to block off the top of the engine. You have to have the top of the engine blocked off either with a piston stop or with some string in order to be able to leverage taking the clutch off. After you block the top of the piston off, go ahead and pull the recoil so that way the piston is compressed against the cylinder wall at the top. I'm going to use my 19mm socket to go clockwise, which will take the clutch right off. I've done enough of these over the years where I'm comfortable using the impact to take the clutch off without having any damage to the unit. Next, I'm going to remove the plate cover and the worm gear. This particular worm gear had the tip broke off as compared to the new one on the side. That tip is what seats into the sprocket. Without that tip, it's not going to rotate the oil pump and you're not going to have oil coming out in your bar. When reinstalling this cover plate, make sure that you have the top side up. It'll be written on the cover plate. Counterclockwise to tighten the clutch and install it back on the unit. Before I tighten the clutch back on, I'm going to make sure my piston stop is in place. I'm going to pull the recoil to make sure that the piston's pulled all the way to the top. If you don't do this and you impact the clutch on, you could put a hole in your piston. Once the clutch is reinstalled and tight, go ahead and reinstall your spark plug and put the unit back together. Here's a slot in the sprocket where the worm gear is installed. Now I'm aligning that slot with the worm gear. Once it's in the correct position, the sprocket will slide right down into place. I do lubricate the needle cage with some high temperature grease before I install it. Sometimes the needle cage is a tight fit and I got to use a socket to push the needle cage down. Just lightly tap the socket so the needle cage sets into place. Now put the washer back on and the E-clip and you're all set.